good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode, or should I say a special episode of Conversations with Prime. I got a special guest, I got a legend. This is the man right here from the famous X-Ecutioners crew. Got my brother, Mr. Sinista.
What's good, Mr. Prime?
Yo,
thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me,
on the platform, bro.
Yes.
Once again, Conversations with Prime, episode 21. What age did you start DJing?
Man, good question, man. I actually started at 5 years old.
Wow.
I mean, my musical background goes back from my grandmother, when she's playing Digi records, and then it got passed down to the James Brown era. My mom was listening, and then my father was also a DJ.
Nice.
So he used to put me up on a little chair when he had his turntables there, and he used to give me these little lessons to let me play with them, and ever since then, I could say it's been inside of me.
Start at that age is like a blessing, you know what I'm saying?
Amen.
A lot of people don't have that, you know, that luxury. Who inspired you?
So many DJs, man. Like, as far as the news, like, yo, there's Flash, Red Alert, Chuck Chill Out, the list goes on, Mix Master DXT, Theodore, there's so many. I can go on ahead with, there's like a whole list of people. I'm all of those people put into one, but I got inspiration from all those DJs from back in the days.
Around when was the year that you started getting into the battle scene?
The battle scene, I could say I started getting into, for me, was 93 when I joined the New Music Seminar. Okay. But I was already aware of the battle circuit in 90, you know, from being with Rob and being with Butcher. They put me onto the tapes that were going on, especially Rob, he put me onto the videotapes that were going on. So you can actually say around 90, I started watching the battle circuit and all the DJs that were DJing, but I knew about it in 89. I was just like a newbie watching all these people do all this turntable trickery stuff, and I was amazed by that, you know?
Well, from seeing it, like from when you was seeing it on the tape, and then to actually be a part of the battle, how was that transition right there?
It was scary at first, you know what I mean? Because I didn't, at that time, I started off mixing. So I was just mixing, and then I thought I was the best DJ. I was mixing and doing all this Hot 103 stuff and hip hop and stuff, you know, that was the era. And then my man came to my crib one day and he's like, yo, man, he's talking about Dr. Butcher. He's like, yo, I just came from this guy, Dr. Butcher's house. I thought I was the best. I'm like, yo, man, he can't mess with me. So I went over to his house, saw what Drew was doing, and he just made me not want to get on the turntables. It was just that head shocking.
Like
so
mind blowing.
Mind blowing. I didn't want to get on the turntables after that. Yeah, man. And so I was kind of nervous to get into that, and at the same time Rob was over there, and he was like kind of like had Rob under his wing. So I got to see him and Rob doing stuff and watch Rob go to the 91 and 92. As you know, I was standing next to him in 92.
Definitely.
And I just started practicing. I knew from seeing that, if I wanted to be a part of that battle circuit, I had to bring something to the table. I could not do what I was doing. And when I got something, it was amazing. I was scared, and I was still scared when I was battling, but the transition from watching to being in it was amazing. I felt like I accomplished something, you know?
We can't be perfect in everything, but just still push that energy to try to be perfect. It helps. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's dope, man.
Nailed it right on the button, you know?
Do you think that is more creativity in the battles today than it was?
I'm not one to knock any DJ.
Of course.
But honestly, no. I think that back then, DJs were more creative, and only because of the fact, and not dissing the new technology, any of the DJs that's using this, because now it's a little more easy, as we know. There was no, if you messed up, there was no coming back. You had to literally know how to recover. There was no button where you could hit back and go right back. The creativity that was happening back in the days was much more diverse, because it was harder. You know, we did more. We were using vinyl. We had to tape our records. The crowds were not politically friendly then. If you went up there and you messed up and you sucked, you got booed.
Wow.
You got booed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you were not good, you got booed. And you know, today the crowds are more politically correct, so people don't boo. But then, if you didn't come up there, so in the creative process of us practicing, we had to make sure that not only what we did was tight, if we messed up, we knew how to recover. Back in the days, we had to use records, make sure our records were clean, make sure nothing skipped. Putting thought in the process into what we're doing as far as backspinning or needle dropping. So it was a little more, the technology wasn't as advanced as it is today. So I think the DJs that were back there were more creative, because it was the hip hop era and people were more creative. The technology wasn't as advanced. So it wasn't easy.
Right.
You know, you had to literally work to come up with something really creative.
And the technology is definitely pertinent to some degree as far as we seeing the real creative side of the DJ.
I remember that the DMC, the first time they incorporated, you can use like a band. That was creative, but the thing was the dude, when the band was playing, the whole concept was the drummer was there, the guitar player, but the whole concept was they were playing to the guy that was cutting this break back and forth. But again, going back to what I said, when the needle jumped and he didn't know how to recover from it. So when the needle jumped, of course the band, everybody's following him, the drummer went off and he didn't know how to recover. That's what I was talking about, recovering. So as he's trying to recover and do this, the band is just going off. So it was a very creative idea.
Do you think the technology should be to a limit as far as like in the battle?
At this point now, I mean, it's like just haywire right now. But I think, yeah, there should be a certain, like what they're coming out with now, there should be a certain limit. I always felt like at the same time it added to it, but I think that at the same time it should have stayed where it was. Where if you have a DJ battle, it could be just like, where you're not using cue points, you're just using records. Like, you know, you can also go to absolute mode, and that's why you're just using regular stuff, but nobody's gonna go back to that. But I think there should be a limit. Where it is now, I think it should stay. Put it that way. I don't think there should be any more things to make it easier for you to get something like to mix. Like I don't think it should be made any more easier than what it is. As much as it's easier now for it, I think it should stay where it is, and it'll be borderline on the tip of being just, you know, still creative with the technology. I don't think they should add any more to make it, you know?
So we know that you come from a very legendary group, the X-Ecutioners. You know, shout out to the X-Ecutioners, shout out to Rob, shout out to Precision,
yes,
Blind Total,
Blind Total.
Rest in peace, Raider. What, like, how was the sessions with Raider when basically practice sessions and sessions where y'all preparing for battle? How were those sessions?
Very fun, very intense. You know, we were an introverted crew, so we only practiced with each other.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we never allowed outsiders into our practice. If we did, it had to be somebody that we knew that was considered family. But it was mad fun. Those sessions were fun because we all were in beast mode at that time. We all were loving, we were fans of music, we loved the turntable. So every time we hooked up, it was fun, and it was also intense because we had the pressure on us to come up with the best routines that we possibly could, because we were building our name in New York. We had a reputation as X-Men, the best crew in New York City. So it was very fun and it was very challenging because we put a lot of effort into being creative. So more than likely, I would say it was more fun.
Did y'all like battle amongst each other?
We did. That's how we were able to go into the battles. All the battles you seen Raider and Rob.
Yeah.
We would channel our battles just like they were doing the DMC. We would 6 minutes, everybody bring their best cut. 3 minutes, we would tally up things, Rob versus Sean, or Sean versus Raider, and we would do that. So when we went to the battles, we were already ready.
And it was ever times to where you may have came up with a routine and you like, yo, Raider, I think this one is the same for you. That's how it was.
Vice versa.
Crew, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. That's amazing. I never like really cause I never like been a part of a crew or nothing like that. So that stuff is amazing. We was just, you know, I always watch the videos and things like that. I was like, wow, this is amazing. There's a lot of, you guys trendsetted a lot of patterns, you know what I'm saying? A lot of patterns, y'all trendsetted, like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow, we never would have thought that to this day. I mean, I'm just so humbled and appreciative of that, because at the time we were doing it, we never were gonna think that we would set trends for other people. We didn't have any idea, we were just doing us.
One of my favorite things that you did, the scratches you did on one of my favorite songs, The Resurrection, Common Sense.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to come up with that?
A minute. Actually, people always ask me that. I went in the studio with Common and we went out a whole month. I was in the studio a whole month for that Resurrection album. Both of us were. And it started out as just doing 3 scratches for him. And after I finished the 3, I was just sitting there looking at him. He was looking at me and he's like, look, man, you could do the rest if you want. So that's how I ended up getting the scratches on the whole album. Resurrection, which is ironic, that was the song that people know me for with that, was the last song I did. It was the hardest to come up with. I had no idea what I was doing with that. I was fighting to try to figure what I was gonna do with that. And I remember I pulled out the Nice and Smooth record, and that was the last record I had on the turntable. Common was telling me, just relax, we got time. So I fell asleep, and I woke up in the morning, the Nice and Smooth record was on the turntable.
Amazing.
And I looked through it, and I remember that in No Delaying, he says Resurrection.
Wow.
And I put it on, and I started, and Rashid was Common. He said, there it is right there.
Amazing.
And that's the story of that. And that's how that came out. It was actually the hardest one I had to figure out that I didn't know, and that was the last song done on the album.
And look, it's one of the best songs in hip hop, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And those scratches just take it to another plateau.
Wow.
Man. One of my favorite joints.
Thank you.
To listen to that. That's something that you can just listen to. Common is dope. I love Common Sense. You can listen to just the instrumental of that and the scratches, and it sounds like a song in itself. You know
wow.
What I'm saying? Thank you for that.
Man. Thank you for that. Thank you guys for appreciating it.
For real, man. Because you was in the battle scene a lot. You know, you judged a lot of battles and stuff. And this is a question I always told myself, but I don't know if there's any truth to it, so I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like politics in battling when it comes to the judges, like judging other DJs and stuff?
I mean, in any type of industry, like music industry, there's gonna be some form of politics, and people want to be friendly with it.
Yeah.
I mean, even we were going through that. Like, you know, rest in peace to Clark Kent, respect to Scratch. But I mean, even when the Superman had their battle, of course, they had the Superman on the judges panel. They might have love for you and they might know you don't, but of course, if they're got their people up there judging, they have a cool.
All it takes is one person.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. You know.
And I ask that because I see like there's a lot of inside things I may hear about this one or like this one, and like a lot of battles that I saw, and then when you get the backstory of it, like, yo, you know what this I ain't really liking. And I think that's there's no way of really finding it out before.
Of course, no, there's not.
So,
there's not. And you know what? It's cool when it gets like that to where it's political. The people already know. You leave that to the eyes. Because I'm pretty sure you've seen battles where you're like, yo, that dude should have won.
100%.
Like, and that's what, so no matter what the political stage may be, as long as you know you got up there and you got the overall crowd. Like that happened with me, Specs and 8-Ball. That happened to me in the seminar.
Wow.
People thought, people were like, yo, I mean, I was going in there not to win. I just went in there to make a mark. Coming in second was like coming in first for me because it's my first seminar battle. My first battle period, and I was just happy to be placed at second. Like, but a lot of people saw me like, yo, man, Sin, you got jerked. You should have won. I'm like, huh? Even if there's like politics involved or whatever like that, the people will always come to the conclusion of who they feel should have won. And that's always just the greatness about watching somebody and putting the effort into your skill, because no matter what goes on, that's always going to show. Nobody can take that away.
Yeah.